Okay, let's settle in. We are live, everybody. This is YouTube Live from my set in front of my bookcase, and what a conversation that we're going to be having today. So let me know that you're here. All right, I just might put this up a little bit higher. So hanging on your bookcase, and I can do that just to get my laptop a little bit higher so it's a little bit more comfortable to have a look at the chat and what's going on. Beautiful. I think that's going to be better. Hello from Team Good. Beautiful to see you here. And I'm sure I've got Violet in the house as well. I'm going to be having such an amazing conversation with you today about why didn't the narcissist love me? Because I know that that's such a powerful question that so many people have on your heart. And it's such an agonizing question. All right, Tracy and Pamela, hello. It's so beautiful to see you. All right, we'll just let a couple more people come in. Okay. All right. You know, to understand, I'm glad this is timely for you, Angel. To understand the answer to this question is to understand the true nature of a narcissist. But not only that, it's about the true nature of ourselves. Because absolutely, we want to love, we want to be loved, we want safe, healthy, prosperous, beautiful, authentic, evolved connection. Everybody wants that. But how do we have it safely? How do we have it in a way where love is reciprocated? How do we have love in a way where somebody can see us, hear us, hold us, and meet us? And how do we generate that? Because what I'm going to be talking to you about today is not only why didn't the narcissist love me? It's about taking our power back so that we can generate truly loving relationships. And this was a huge journey in my own progression with true narcissistic intimate partners. Okay, so let's just start by having a little chat about narcissists. But before I do, I just want to remind all of you, if any of you are new to my channel and you haven't yet subscribed, when you subscribe to my channel, not only will you get these lives every week, you'll also get my 3 videos a week that come out, as well as so many updates about what's going on in our incredible Thriver community. And what's really about this Thriver community is that I'm not just talking to you about narcissistic abuse, I'm talking to you about how to heal for real from this, how to get out of the bowels of hell, not just survive, but thrive in your life moving forward. Because this is a life that I live every single day. I thrive. I'm the healthiest. I'm the most empowered, extended, confident, loved and loving that I've ever been in my entire life, as are thousands of other people in this community who discovered how to heal for real from this. Because it is so not true that you have to have a diminished life and have PTSD and agoraphobia and fibromyalgia and adrenal malfunctions and diminished trust in yourself, life, and others, and have to hide out under a rock and struggle with your abuse symptoms for the rest of your life. It is not the truth. And this is what I'm so passionate about, is giving you real solutions to not just recover, but to actually stand in your light and your magnificence and the truth of who you are in the ways that you ever have, even before abuse happened to you. We have amazing conversations and solutions about not just what happened to you, but how to take your power back. And today's going to be one of those days as well. Okay, so let's just start off by saying, why didn't the narcissist love me? And what did that mean to us? Well, what it meant to us is we got thrown under a bus. We literally got thrown under a bus. So when we went to the narcissist with what was on our heart and our spirit and our mind, and whether the narcissist was a family member or an intimate partner or a neighbor or a friend or a therapist or whatever it was, you know, when the cracks appeared and things weren't right and we showed up wanting some accountability and some care and some reform, the narcissist threw us under a bus. They invalidated us. They told us it was all our fault. They told us we had it wrong. We told us we weren't allowed to have those thoughts and feelings. And this is devastating with somebody who you wanted to trust and love and you believed cared about you. Because what happens is when narcissists come into your life, they pretend to see you, hear you, hold you, care about you, and you feel so met. And then what happens is when the cracks appear, you discover the exact opposite. And in fact, the person who seemed to love you and liberate you the most turns into your worst enemy. And sometimes on a dime. At the start, it's kind of gradual. You know, you get a look, you get an expression, you get a behavior, and you think, oh, that didn't quite feel right in my body. Something's a bit off with that. And then as the narcissist tests your boundaries and what you will tolerate and what they can get away with, and as the mask falls, well, then it turns into cold, calculating, devalue discards or white hot rages of devalue discards. And either way, it's soul terrifying and it's soul tormenting. And yet we want to believe that this person loves us. And that's the horrific aspect of this. The horrific aspect of narcissistic abuse is not so much that they don't love us, it's that we hang on trying to get them to love us. That's actually the horrific part of this. So why can't a narcissist, why didn't they love us? Well, a false self actually isn't love. It's not pro-life. It's not pro-peace, pro-love, pro-connection, pro-oneness. It's actually anti-life, anti-connection, anti-peace, anti-solution, anti-teamwork, and anti-love. And we have to really come back to the narcissistic relationship that they're having with self. Because we may think that it's all about self for a narcissist. It's all about getting self-fulfilled and getting this and getting that and getting the other. But the real truth of the matter is the relationship that a narcissist is having with self is no relationship. It doesn't exist because a narcissist doesn't have a self. And what does that really mean? It means that a narcissist is a false self. They're a fraud. Why are they a fraud? Because what happened is somewhere in the progression of their self and their connection to their inner being, they decided that their inner being was no longer appropriate or applicable and couldn't get its needs met. And what happened is they didn't want to turn inwards with love and care and consideration and self-healing and the development of their wounded parts. They didn't want to love themselves. I want you to understand what loving yourself means. It means turning inwards, warts and all, and picking up the broken parts of yourself and loving and healing them back to wholeness. That really scared inner child that feels like it's not good enough, that it's unlovable, that it's unworthy of love, that it's not enough. The narcissist did not want to. Probably because they didn't have the programming, or their wounds were too big, or they were stuck in survival, or they were being assaulted by other wounded people who didn't have a relationship with their inner being. And it's sad, but it is what it is. The narcissist threw that inner child under a bus, discarded it, threw it to the side, said, you are not worth my attention. I am not going to be humble and real enough to come inside to do the work on that. I'm not going to risk it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to disown, divorce you. In fact, I would kill you off if I could. And this is what's so interesting about narcissists. When you understand the deep energetic psychology of what is going on, they hate their inner being so much They project it onto you and then try to destroy you, because they're projecting onto you the parts of themselves they can never accept and they hate. And you have seen the rage in a narcissist's eyes. You have seen them look at you like they despise you, that they hate you. And that's really the hatred for their inner being that they have pulled up and out, thrown onto you, and tried to destroy you. Get that peace. So the narcissist, rather than being able to say, poor broken inner child that is so destroyed, I'm going to turn in and heal you back to wholeness, to integrate and heal up as a solid, safe, empowered human adult in my body, which is what we all need to do. They refuse to do that, which means that the path to integration with self gives you the path to integration with true source, which is the unlimited permutations, opportunities, and well-being and life force in the field. It gives you access to love, support, truth, authenticity, teamwork, oneness. There's no other way. Through self to a higher power, whether you want to call it Jesus Christ or God or your deity or just life force, the universe, well-being. The only way through to that connection is through self, is through an integration with self. My personality, my inner being, my higher source, which is actually the conscious, the subconscious, superconscious. It's the Holy Trinity. And a narcissist, because they're disconnected from self, they're completely disconnected from source. So what does that mean to a narcissist? It means I'm out on the edge in nowhere man's land. It's me versus everybody. And I have to fight and struggle and have defense mechanisms to exist. I'm not loved. I'm not accepted. And I just have to one-up everything to try to get my share of love, approval, survival, and security. And then the thing is, for a narcissist, it doesn't matter what they get. It's never enough. It's a bottomless pit because they don't have an integration with self and source. So it never holds, it never builds. It's a bottomless pit. It doesn't matter what you do to try to love a narcissist. You can twist yourself into 1,000 shapes of a pretzel every single day. And one day it works, the next day it doesn't. Then you have to find another shape to twist yourself into. Because if you are not love, if you're not integrated to self and able to have an integration to source, to have source flowing through you as you're not love. You can't accept it. And to a narcissist, those that try to love him or her, it is so out of alignment with their own vibration. Narcissists despise themselves. They hate themselves. The insecurity and the self-loathing is off the charts, but they hide it, they bury it, and they self-medicate. They self-medicate by getting stuff, attention, significance from others. Good or bad attention, it doesn't matter. In fact, to the narcissist's false self, to their ego, you on the ground crying, shaking, and vomiting because you are so abused by them is actually narcissistic supply, and it's AAA grade narcissistic supply because it feeds the ego significance. And how it goes to the narcissist is, I can affect you so significantly emotionally, I must exist. I must be significant. That's the attention that a narcissist is wanting to the false self. So if you think about it as an entity, if we were to think of a zombie apocalypse, let's say somebody got bitten by a zombie and their true self dies and the zombie takes over, you're getting closer to the truth than you could ever imagine. Because what's happened is the narcissist has been taken over by an egoic identity that is not the person. It's not the soul. In fact, the soul has gone catatonic because The soul doesn't have a say. It's this egoic personality that has taken over the narcissist, that is running the game. And the game with you is you are not somebody to love. Oh my God, to the false self. That is just so disgusting. Because love means that I combine with you, I work out solutions with you, I want peace with you, I care for you. I want to share energy and my life and my intimacy. Intimacy is into me see. A narcissist doesn't want you to see into them. Have you ever noticed with a narcissist that they won't let you in? They won't be humble, they won't be real, they won't be authentic. And if they ever have those moments where they've had so much narcissistic injury that there's a window where they are real, as soon as the defenses come up and you've seen the real inner child that's broken, they will punish you for that. Because as far as the false self is concerned, if anybody sees who I really am, I need to obliterate them, I need to smear them, I need to destroy them, I need to end their existence to be able to let other people know who I really am. You've got to think of the emperor with no clothes. You have to think of the little man behind the curtain in The Wizard of Oz. They do not want people to know what's really going on with them, and they can't face it themselves. That's why they have to incessantly get narcissistic supply over and over and over again. So here's the thing about this. Why didn't the narcissist love us? Because the narcissist doesn't have the resources. And it's not just that they don't want to. You know, people have gone to therapy and they've hung on, and I did it too. And they will tell you they love you, but that's part of the game. I love you. Nobody will love you as much as I do. You will never find anybody who loves you as much as what I do. They're all words. Love is not words. Love is what you're receiving. And this is a really big thing about us that we need to understand. Of course, it feels personal because your dreams are smashed. And, maybe a lot of you have been having relationships with narcissistic parents. And of course, a narcissistic parent should love you and care for you and have your best interests at heart, or a family member or somebody close to you. Of course they should. But if they can't and they don't, they can't and they don't. And the more that we hang on trying to get love from somebody who doesn't have the resources or the desire to love us, the more we get abused. And this is what's been happening. This is what happens in narcissistic abuse. Expecting a narcissist to love you is as futile as expecting a crocodile to roll over while you scratch its tummy and wag its tail. There is not the capacity, and there's not the capacity because there's no true self. There's no real person there to love you. Love is not acting for agendas. Love is not telling you one thing and doing another. Love is not something that causes you massive anxiety, incredible roller coaster rides, and feelings of ridiculous obsession about this person, such as I can't live without them, I can't let them go, I love them so much. I promise you I went through all of that stuff. Hugely. That's trauma bonding. It's not love. And I promise you, after being on a trajectory of narcissistic relationships, and the two, arguably most impactful relationships in my life, the man that I married and the man I got engaged to, were both narcissists. And the obsession and the roller coasters and the abuse and the horrificness, and being in a healthy relationship now with a really beautiful, aligned soul with myself, in a lovely, intimate, beautiful relationship. It's been nearly 3 years now. And I remember, when I met this man, and I'd done so much inner work on myself, and I was very, very, very clear about my values and my truths, and taking my time to get to know somebody's character and see them in real life and see how they operate, and get to know somebody and see if their values and their truths were aligned with mine, which his are. And to see that they don't love bomb and they can give you space and they have a secure inner being. Narcissists don't, you know. There's so many ways, and that's a whole episode in itself. I've done a lot of stuff on that. You can look it up, about healthy relationship versus narcissistic relationships, and how do you know when you're ready to date, and all of those things. But what it takes is your own inner development to get to the stage where you can be the person who shows up to generate a healthy relationship. Otherwise, we just get hooked in again with people who love bomb us and chemically attract us. But when I met my partner, the difference was, I remember that, we dated platonically for 3 months, and I could honestly say that, if he wasn't my love partner, he would be one of my best friends, because that's how aligned we are. And it's really beautiful. But I remember thinking to myself, being around him feels like putting on my favorite sweater or jumper, depending where you are in the world. Like, it's just so comforting and warm and just so beautiful. And it's completely different because, well, first of all, to get my own soulmate, I made it my own soul. It's very much about a relationship hiatus, and it's very much about doing the inner work, because I want you to know this. If we are traumatized about somebody not loving us, it's because we haven't yet come home to loving and healing ourselves. There's only one true relationship, and that's the relationship between our inner being and source. And we will never accept a level of love beneath the level that we love ourselves. That's the key. And what's really beautiful is when we let go of somebody not loving us and not showing up and not being there for us. When we let go of the neediness of that and we come home to healing all of those parts of ourselves that were connected to these people, trying to get love from outside of ourselves when it needed to be between us and us all along, you actually have no missing, no obsession, no yearning, nothing. You're free. And all of the PTSD and the agoraphobia and the adrenal malfunctions and the fibromyalgia and all of the diminished faith in self, life, and others, all of it dissolves away and you come home. And then when you come home and you meet people that don't have capacity, or a crack appears and they do something really unloving, you will lay a boundary, and if it's bad enough, you will let them go with relief, rather than, oh my God, I have to hang on to this because something else may not be coming along. And what's this really been about? It's been about our unhealed child within, from our genetic background, our families, our past lives, all of our unhealed wounds and insecurities, which have been, I am not able to be loved, and I am not loved by source because I exist. So we're not filled with the solidness and the peace and the oneness that we need to be able to make healthy choices, and also to say, you know what? Step up or step out. This isn't loving enough for me. This is not the truth for me. I'm not going to try to turn crumbs into cookies anymore. Okay? Now, people say, well, it's so bad. Narcissistic abuse and the trauma of it is so huge. It's so huge. We can't just think our way out of it. It's the inner work. It's the inner subconscious programs and the inner work on that broken inner child that, probably felt invalidated or felt like love was conditional and we weren't lovable and worthy unless we gave other people what they wanted, or we towed the line, or, maybe our parents were just really good people, but they were busy surviving and putting food on the table, and they were running around in life trying to make enough money to do the right thing as parents, that they just didn't have the time to hear us and be with us and allow us to know that we're worthy and we're allowed to grow up as whole beings having a powerful relationship with ourselves. Maybe we were left alone, or maybe when we cried or we were upset, people said to us, well, go get your colouring book out, or go watch TV, or don't think about it. So our inner being that felt unmet and unheard and invalidated continued to feel that way. And it's really interesting with narcissists, because with laser-like intensity, they work you out. What's missing? What do you need? What doesn't feel whole within you? I'm going to pretend to be that because that's going to make you bond with me. They know how to ensnare people very, very quickly. And if we're needy and we're empty and we're vulnerable, we fall for it. If we're not needy and empty and vulnerable, because those broken parts of us as a child, we've literally healed them on the inside up into a solid, mature adult inside of us, then we listen to our intuition, then we take our time, then we have no neediness. We get to ascertain people. Narcissists are very, very exposed very easily when you're being an authentic self. It doesn't take long at all. It's like vampires. In daylight, they start screaming and screeching. Narcissists, when you're in your authentic truth and your power, they show themselves very, very quickly. I promise you. You'll pick it very quickly. They'll expose themselves very quickly. They'll end up doing something really childish and really off. And when you just stand true in your being and you question it, or you speak up, you wait and see them pop and unravel. It's unbelievable. It's true. They can never take you down when you get to that place. And what does this really mean? This means loving ourselves to be in our bodies and having done the inner work. No. All right. So this is our time for any. Yeah, and Laura is just saying, I hope so, because right now I don't trust my ability to choose a good man. Laura, I promise you, after what I went through before I did the inner work, and I did it with NARP, a lot of you that are in here today, some of you are NARPers, which is wonderful, the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Program. But that's the program I channeled, I created, and I worked with on my inner being to not just save my life, but to give me this trajectory of life where I'm in my power and I make amazing choices, and life presents me with the full replication of who I'm being to myself on the inside. Hence why I have a beautiful partner. I have incredible relationships. I don't have any PTSD, agoraphobia, fibromyalgia. I'm 54 years of age, nearly 55, and I'm the healthiest, most expanded I've ever been because of the inner work and the amazing choices I've been able to do now. And the confidence. I don't fear narcissists at all, but I really hear you, Laura, because back in the day, before the inner work, I was so broken and so traumatized and so fearful. And I just wanted somebody to come along and love me and heal me back to wholeness. But that was between me and source. So it's not about, if you're still feeling broken and you're still feeling heartbroken and not confident and traumatized and terrorized from narcissistic abuse, it's not time to date. And you can't miss your evolution and your graduation. Your evolution and your graduation is to come home and fix this and get this right for your entire life and lifetimes moving forward. That no more of this. But that will only happen if you change your love trajectory and your inner being. Because life doesn't change until you change yourself. That's where your true power is. Otherwise, God does not roll dice. Your life is not about rolling dice. Okay? They're terrible odds. Because what do we keep being? What do we keep getting presented with? Who we're being. Water finds its own level. It doesn't mean we're narcissists, but it means we've had the traumas inside of the people I love invalidate me, leave me, replace me, annihilate me, steal from me, betray me. If that's the trauma you've still got going, that's exactly who you're going to meet in the field. It's who you're attracted to, and it's who's attracted to you. And the pattern continues until we heal. When you no longer have those inner love codes and those inner traumas, it's really interesting. Somebody said to me the other day, I only thought we could integrate our trauma. I didn't think we could actually lose it. We can lose it. That's what quantum freedom healing does. It's what the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Program does. It literally gets the trauma out of you so it no longer exists. And it brings in source into that space where the trauma was to reprogram you back to your source self, which is your highest, most empowered whole potential. And that's why the shifts are very fast and very quick. Back in the day when before I discovered these tools, I was doing like life coaching with people. And once I got these tools, I said to them, we are not going to do an hour having a conversation, because I know that if I work with you with this healing process on your inner subconscious programs, we're going to get 50 times the acceleration of your healing. Why would I talk to you for an hour when we can do that? So a lot of you here, I know you might be accessing my articles and my videos, and you have to keep self-medicating with them, keep reminding yourself. When you do the inner healing, you're not going to have to keep reminding to stay well. You are going to lose the trauma, bring in source, and remember, which comes back to the remembering of yourself back home. The integration, the remembering back home to your integration, your truth, where there is no trauma. That's what the inner work does. That's what NARP does. It's 50 times the healing acceleration at least of what you're getting from just my articles and my videos. So check it out. Okay, and it's fully guaranteed. There is no risk you trying it. If it doesn't work for you, you get a full refund. You can get on a tiny amount once a month and get your full program. I think it's like something like 2 cups of coffee a week. It's something like that. That's all it's going to cost you, all right, to come back home to your true power and your true self. And those of you who are in my communities, you can go on Facebook or Instagram or, and even here in YouTube, go through like my material and things that I presented and what people write who are working with NARP. And even hit these people up on Facebook and ask them directly so that you know this is real. And have a look at reviews. It's all real, verifiable people that are healing and thriving beyond their wildest dreams, because it works. So yes, you can completely lose the trauma, the false programming. So you're just not that person who is hooked up in abuse anymore. You're not obsessing, which was the broken inner child saying, Mum, Dad, these people represent that. Please do it differently this time. Please give me what I need to grow up and heal up. Now we can do that directly with Source, with NARP. Because this is the thing, no one else is coming. No one's coming. No saviour's coming. You're your own savior. It's between you and Source. Okay. All right. Now, if you have any questions, and we've got Faye and we've got Willow Way. Faye and Willow Way are beautiful. We've got them in our Thrive Interactive 10-week group at the moment, which is just so beautiful. And you girls are doing an amazing job. It's just an honor to be working with you. It really is. All right. Do you have any questions for me? And I just want to say, all right, JT, beautiful Thriver. I got to meet JT in LA. It was so gorgeous. at the Mind Body Spirit. You know, JT, met her in the cafeteria and we had a beautiful big hug. Yeah. And JT is saying, I did the 3 Keys workshop and joined NARP, and the very first shift was so real. NARP is real. It really is real. And for those of you, if you're not ready for NARP or you're not sure, which is completely understandable, because you might think, well, this crazy woman from Australia, how can she say it works like that? It does, but you kind of have to experience it. And you can come into my free webinar, which is melanietoniaevans.com/free webinar. And you'll have a Quantum Freedom Healing in there for free, and lots of information about what NARP is, how it works, what you can expect from it, timeframes for your healing, acceleration in your healing, and also too, if NARP is for you. You know, you can find out about all of that. And I just want to say, you know, this topic about why didn't the narcissist love me, and being really stuck in the heartbreak and the pain and the trauma of not having received love in your life and really wanting it, which is so beautiful and so normal, and it's gorgeous, and you should have love. I really don't want anybody to get into, you know, this codependent recovery where, you know, we're not going to have love and we're just going to be love to ourselves and we're just going to be strong. No, love and connection and oneness and communication and connection is so gorgeous and important. But we have to go backwards before we go forwards. But it's not actually backwards. It's back to source. It's back to love of self with source, so that you are whole and full no matter what, which is so gorgeous, because then you can be trying on and out relationship and you can say no. And when you become at one with source, with love for self with source, and this isn't necessarily religious, it can be whatever your higher self, higher power is to you. It's love, actually. You know, when you can be love and wholeness inside of yourself, you know that when you say no to something because it's not healthy, you know there's more from where that came from. It's never again that lack, where I used to experience that so much. Oh my God, maybe somebody else will never come along. I've got to make this work. And I saw the promise at the start and I want to believe in this person. And, you know, sometimes not everybody's perfect. You know, all these excuses we can tell ourselves about this stuff. And that goes, all of those excuses and cognitive dissonances and everything. You're like, okay, these are my values of honesty, integrity, teamwork, solution building. Are you that or are you not? Because they're baseline foundations for love, even in a friendship. If you're not that, we're not a match. And I love you enough to let you go and seek out whatever is right for you. And I love myself enough for me to let go and seek out and align with and try on what's right for me. And I'm going to invite people up to a higher level of love with me. I'm going to tell them my truths and my values and say, I would love that with you. Is that what you want? Because if you don't, that's okay. Because I love myself anyway, and I can let you go. Can you see the difference? It's so beautiful. There's no fear. There's no longingness. There's no, it can be disappointing, of course. You go, gee, I really, you know, wanted something more authentic with that person, more healthy. But they don't have the capacity or the desire. It's not personal, that's them. And it's not for me, because I know that if I try to turn crumbs into cookies and I try to turn lemons into lemonade and I try to turn shit into a healthy sandwich, I'm going to get crapped on. It's going to be horrible. We know that. We tried it. All right? So this development is so important, because our brain comes up with all kinds of excuses and rubbish, and that was my past situation. You know, somebody used to come into my life and, you know, they'd have the things that would attract me, but I used to put more thought into buying a pair of shoes than I did a relationship, honestly. If he was tall and he had broad shoulders and he was intelligent and attractive, That used to get me because they didn't come along every day, but if that came along, that was it. I didn't take my time to see, did this person's values match mine? And this is the thing about narcissists. They easily pretend to have the same interests. I like the music you do. I love doing the things you do. They're like plasticine. They can be whatever somebody else wants them to be for them to hook that person in. Because there's a no self there. It's a plasticine little character that becomes whatever it needs to be to hook somebody in for narcissistic supply. Okay, so, we've got the same interests. We love going for country drives. We love traveling. We love the same music. We're both really spiritual. We're into spirituality. I want to learn what you know, all that stuff. But it's not about common interests. It's about values. Your values have got to be aligned. And we know as non-narcissistic people, what are our values? Honesty, truth, integrity, care, consideration, validation, teamwork, solution building. Solution building means you have a disagreement, which every relationship does. Do we want to hear each other meet and work it out? Do we want to grow together? And respect, giving each other space, trust, all of these things. These are values. Inner solidness and security is a value. And as I dated my partner now, rather than, yes, and he's tall and good looking and broad shoulders and he's highly intelligent and we have the same interests, but I knew nothing about his character and his values. So we dated platonically. And women, you have got to get out of, I need to have sex with somebody straight away to hook them up. And if I don't give them sex, they're going to run off to the next person. Good guys don't love you because of sex. They connect to your soul and your heart. Then they fall in love with you. Then you have sex with them if you're a smart woman. So please lose those traumas and beliefs, because as soon as you offer yourself up on a plate before he's made an emotional connection to you, he's had his conquest, and you have missed the opportunity for an emotional connection. You're the for now girl. You're not going to be the forever girl. Okay? I'm just going to give it to you straight. You need to heal that stuff. So, fortunately, I was very well aware of that. And it was like, well, if he didn't want to hang around because I didn't, hand it over quickly enough, too bad. Next. You're not my guy. So we dated platonically. I was able to travel over to different countries. I had my work things. I had things where I couldn't catch up with him. I had things where I couldn't answer a text for 5 hours. And not once did this man start doing the needy love bombing rubbish that narcissists do. He didn't do that. Where are you? Why haven't you answered me? He would send me beautiful poetry, which was really romantic. I love being romanced. But not once did he demand an answer or a payoff for what he was doing. He wasn't insecure. I got to see how he operated around other people, how his children felt about him, and they adored him as a good dad. How he treated people, his levels of integrity, his levels of service, his levels of my actions match my words. Character. And I saw that, if we didn't quite agree on something, I saw how we could work at solutions together. Okay? But I was very aware of my old patterns, who I used to attract in, and what used to push my buttons in attraction. I was very aware of that. And I had purposely healed so much to reverse all of that, because back before my inner work, I wouldn't have even been interested in him. Not at all. It would have just felt like nothing to me. I changed my love for myself and my development, and then I was able to receive somebody who truly loves me. And the beautiful thing is, because I spent a lot of time working and holding and healing and loving myself back to oneness, I now have somebody that does the same. So, for example, if I have something in my life that's impactful and hurtful and I'm in tears, I have his arms around me, holding me, saying, baby, I'm here. You know, what's happening? What can I do for you? Back in the day, when I didn't have a relationship with myself and it was a broken relationship with myself and I was trying to get comfort and love from outside of myself, what did the narcissist do? When I needed them, they kicked me in the head. They threw me under a bus. They invalidated and abused me. Why? Because I was trying to get something from outside of myself that I had not yet healed up between me and myself. We think people are going to give us the love that we're giving them. No, people give us the love that we've learned how to give to ourselves. Do you understand how that's everything? Okay. Does that help? I want you to understand the quantum truth of things. It is as absolute as gravity. So within, so without. What does that mean? It means the relationship that you're having with yourself within and how healed up or otherwise it is exactly what you're going to get from without. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. It means you've been really bad to yourself, but you didn't know it. You didn't know it. And I didn't know it. Right? And it's so beautiful that when you come home to loving you, the neediness, the pain, everything goes away. You start loving being in your body and being in life. And then you can add healthy love. And even with your new friendships and everything, you don't just fall straight in. You don't let people into your inner sanctum, your heart, your home, your bank accounts, your body, your bed. You just don't do that willy-nilly anymore, you know, because that's like letting the Trojan horse through the gate and being attacked from within. It really is. You have to be sensible. Everything exists in the world. People that are beautiful, of capable, real love, and people that are going to pretend to be it to mine you for their own agenda. That's the truth. And you need to stop blaming other people for what's gone on in your life. Yes, it's been shocking. Yes, there are perpetrators. Yes, we've been victims. But until we wake the hell up and heal and take our power back, there's no way out of that. That's the victim model. And being determined to stay a victim means you are signing up to a life of victimization. If you want out of that, then you need to get on it. Okay? As I was saying to my Thrive group last week, I said to them, come on, soldier, get up out of the trench, right? We need to put our big girl and big boy pants on and not to go and battle the narcissist, because the battle's actually not between you and the narcissist. The battle's between you and yourself. Okay? And when you turn inwards to change you, you'll change everything. But the most beautiful thing is the obsession, the pain, the suffering will start to melt away way before the changes happen. And it actually needs to happen like that, because no amount of doing is going to change your beingness. No amount of doing. And if you don't change your beingness, you can't change your experience. If you change your beingness, you do better, you choose better, and your whole experience changes. But the gorgeous thing is you're going to get peace and wholeness and filling with love way before you get it from the outside, which means you're not needy anymore. You know, it's like the expression, hungry people make the worst shoppers. They get into supermarkets and fill their trolleys full of crap. When you're hungry and empty, you make really rubbish choices. But if you have had a well-stocked kitchen, cooking yourself nutritious, satiating, beautiful food, then you're going to put more of the same in your trolley. You probably won't even be in a supermarket. You'll be in some organic shop, you know, buying whole foods. I barely ever go to a supermarket. All right. Okay. questions? Is there any questions? Okay. Any questions? And Sony's saying they now post on Instagram with a new person and they're happy living life. Yeah. It's all part of the look at me, look at me. It's, but they all go, and you were the same, when we were first in line, when we were the new supply and the shiny new toy that was better than poached eggs. Narcissists have to pump up the tires of the new person they're with because they get a high from it. They get a hit from it. This is the most sexy person. They've got this, they've got that. They've got the best sense of humor there. And they act like children when they talk about new supply, because they're just on this ridiculous, obsessive high. But, that person's on the pedestal for now. They'll get kicked off it just like you were. Idolize, devalue, discard. It's what every narcissist does, and the cycle never changes, just never changes. So don't envy anything. Be really grateful that you've had the opportunity to get out of this and come home. Because when you get your relationship right between you and Source, you're going to move on into beautiful, fulfilling, authentic, truthful relationships, not just with other people, actually with all of life, which is going to set you up for success, better business deals, more expansion, more prosperity, more wealth, everything. It's all interconnected. When you've got a fracture within you and you, it's not just about relationships where it affects you, it's your relationship to all of life. And this is why Thrive is in our community. Not just have they got the ability of beautiful, intimate, and personal relationships, they also have the ability to have a relationship of success with life. This is not just about relationships. How do I feel about getting tarot readers to get insight? Look, for a bit of fun, you are the generator and creator of your life from the inside out. Tarot doesn't give you that. You decide, you do the work, you do the development, you make the changes. If you are looking for answers outside of yourself, every minute that you are doing that, you're denying yourself your own recovery, development, and generation of your true life. So Okay. Hear from David, here from Montreal. It's only 5 months for me, but I've learnt so much from your videos and your online shows. Thank you. I look forward to learning more. Oh, it's gorgeous, David. I'm really happy for you. But I really want to say to you people, and it's not just about me selling courses at all. We even sponsor people who can't afford it. But I want everybody to understand that there's only so much you can do through the cognitive part of you. When you have the quantum tool to get deep inside and do the programming directly in your inner subconscious, the acceleration in your healing is unbelievable. So palpable, so real. We have so many people in the community that when they finally, they might have been listening to my stuff for years and years and years, and then they get on NARP, and then within 2 months, they've broken through to a whole new trajectory in their life, and they're like, why did I just listen for 4 years? Why didn't I just do that? And, everybody's timing is your timing, and there's no right or wrong. We all do stuff in our own timing. But this is what I say. If you've had enough of the pain and the suffering and you just want to put an end to this, then check out NARP. Back in the day, when I had my breakdowns and I had the brain damage and I had the thyroid the whole, adrenal breakdown, and, I was like 80 pounds and I shook and I couldn't eat for 6 months and I couldn't sleep. And it was, I was dying. I promise you, I would have crawled across a paddock of broken glass if somebody had the solution. I would have. Acres of it. I would have. And back then, there weren't these deep, inner, powerful solutions. There weren't. There was only psychology, ranting and raving, and drugs. And I tried so many different things. I tried everything. And I had 3 credit cards racked up with debt trying to get better. So check it out. Check it out. It's NARP, NARP. And we put the link up in the chat so you can check it out and you can try it full on for a month. You know, we have a beautiful forum, which is a global support forum, thousands of people from all over the world, the best minds in narcissistic abuse recovery come with this course that you can log in, you can ask your questions, you can get support, you can get guidance, and it's all solution-based. It's about how to get up and out of this in the most direct, powerful ways possible, because that's what we've been doing for the last 12 years, 13 years in this community, is creating and generating spectacular, unprecedented recoveries. And it's with everything. It's with family, it's with intimate partner, those of you trying to co-parent, those of you facing court and custody battles. NARP is so important at those times, helping your children heal and get over what they've been through. People with narcissistic, psychopathic neighbours, friends, therapists, you name it. Doesn't matter if you're male, female, and it doesn't even matter if you're still living with a narcissist and you haven't broken away yet. NARP will give you the tools to get your power, your strength back, your boundaries, and be able to do what you need to do. So check it out. Check it out. And it's incredibly affordable. It's less than 3 counselling sessions, standard counselling sessions, and it's your lifetime resource. And unlimited contact with the best minds in narcissistic abuse recovery in the world. Unlimited contact, which is all free with the program. So there's so much with it. All right. And if it doesn't work for you, you get all your money back. Absolutely, nobody offers that in psychology or counselling at all. Okay. And it helps your kids so much. Oh my God. It helps so much. All right. Any other questions? All right. Okay. Violet, I'm just wanting to know, honey, if there's anything else, or the team, whoever's with me. You've all been amazing. I'm really proud of everybody here that you're open to the deeper, real information. And I really want you to know this. We know the truth when we hear it in our bodies. We feel it. Something lights up. And that's your soul remembering the truth about love. And if, you've got somebody who's apparently loving you in your life, and yet your soul and your spirit is an anxiety and it's in trauma and it's an obsession, that's the cells of your body saying to you, this isn't love. This is trauma bonding. It's not love. Okay? Real love isn't like that. Real love has its challenges, but I promise you it's not like that. Okay? And Jody Williams has asked a question. Do I stop sabotaging my other relationships by taking him back and wishing and hoping this time he'll put us first? Yeah, exactly. Because it's sabotaging your connection to yourself. It's destroying you, plus the other relationships in your life that you want to, add to and you want to generate in healthy ways. If you're being abused, it affects everything that's near and dear to you. And, if you Google my name and what will it take for a narcissist to heal, check it out, because you'll understand that it's fruitless what you've been trying to do. I understand it. I did it time and time again, but it's fruitless. Okay? And your life is not going to change from him changing. Your life is going to change as a result of you changing. Okay? That's how it changes. And unless he can step up to clear, concise boundaries with you, well, then it's over. It's done. You don't have a relationship. All right. Okay, and I just before I go, because I think we're through a lot of information here. How are you? I get hoovered by the narc in a no contact. Okay, that's okay. It wasn't a question. I want you to get very clear about this. Toxic relationships, which aren't love, they're power struggles, they're agenda based, and they don't have foundations for them to actually be a relationship on. What happens is you have problems, the cracks appear, and you get in a cycle of violence. So you have the episode, you separate, even if that's just within the same house, then you come back together because somebody caves in or gives in, or you get hoovered back in, or you go back and drop more boundaries. And then you have this, oh, we're better again feeling. Let's hope that this works. Tension builds, episode happens, and you're back at square one. And the episodes get more and more intense. They get more and more frequent. Nothing actually got resolved at all because you're going back over the same crap over and over again. That's a toxic relationship. That's not love. It's a relationship with a narcissist. Healthy relationships that are based on love, absolutely, you have episodes, you have disagreements. But what happens is you don't separate. You actually work them out. You then rise in vibrational frequency to more authenticity, understanding, care and consideration and teamwork and union. And your relationship is on an upward trajectory. That's real love. See the difference? And you know what else is real love? Real love is stop trying to change and fix somebody so that they can love you. That's actually not love, it's control. No matter who they are. No matter even if you think it's for their best interest. It's not love. It's your own emptiness. I'm trying to force somebody to love me so that I can be loved is not love. True love is, okay, you don't have the capacity. I'm working on myself. I'm healing. I'm coming back to home to love myself. You're not interested in that. You don't have the capacity for growth or development or facing your inner demons or doing the work on yourself. You don't have the capacity to try to be solution and peace and love with me. I love you enough to let you go. I'm not going to force you to be loved. That's my responsibility to myself. And I love you enough to set you free, just as I love myself enough to set myself free. That's love. Okay? Should I teach someone how to love me, Jessica? What a beautiful question. Perfect. No. You can't teach anybody to love you. What you can do is train people about what is true for you and what isn't true for you. Okay, so if you have somebody in your life who's invalidating you and they're hurting you and they're disrespecting you, your conversation to them would be, I only actually do relationship that is validation and respect. And this is what I need from you to actually continue a relationship with you. Now, if you're not prepared to meet me at that and that's not your truth, well, then that's okay, but that's all I will accept. That's love and training people how to treat you. And if they don't want to raise into a vibrational relationship of authenticity and trust and truth with you, let them go. Okay? I hope that helps. I hope that really helps. All right. Everybody, my ex went back to his ex who was living a double life. Would he be a narcissist with her? I've no idea. I don't know what's going on with him or her. What I do know is that when you heal you and you come home to you, you won't care either way. It's no longer relevant because you're creating and generating your own incredible life from the inside out, regardless of what anybody else is or isn't doing. You see, this is the thing about the ex-narcissistic husband, which was the most impactful for me, who once upon a time I thought I could not take another breath or another step in my life if he didn't love me and if I wasn't with him. I was so hooked in, after the inner development and having the relationship I have now, which is not needy and obsessive, and it's really healthy and it works beautifully. And even before that, when I healed myself, I couldn't care less if he won Powerball or married the world's most beautiful model or he fell off the edge of the earth. He's completely irrelevant to me now. He just handed me the opportunity to come back to myself and my truth and source and heal and have a great life. Because if he hadn't have smashed me to the ground to my knees for me to do the inner work, I never would have done it. So I'm so grateful. But as a person, he's irrelevant to me now. He was a catalyst to give me back to myself. And that's how they all become when you do the inner work. You complete, like I don't have empathy, I don't have sympathy, I don't hate him. There's nothing. Can you imagine what a beautiful day it is when you feel nothing? I feel nothing apart from this was a soul contract. It needed to happen. If he hadn't have walked in my life and smashed me to my knees to come home to healing and loving myself, somebody else would have, because my soul wanted to come home. Thank God it happened for me. That's really all it is to me now. But I've done the inner work. I couldn't just wake up one morning and decide that, not with all the trauma that was activated, not with the brain damage, the complete psychotic breakdown I had, the fact that I was a walking skeleton and I shook and I sweated and I was on suicide watch and my adrenals were so smashed, I was told I could have a heart attack or a stroke at any time. So I couldn't just wake up and go, oh, he was just a catalyst, everything's great now. I had to turn within and save my soul. And that's what NARP did. And it took me 18 months to work out how to do that, piece by piece, second by second, inch by inch. I can't tell you what it was like. But once I broke through, it was so accelerated, my healing. Okay. All right, beautiful people. I think we're going to leave it there. We've just gone over an hour. Thank you for showing up and thank you for joining me. I love you all so much. I want you to know there's so much relief and power and healing available. And you'll know when you get there to the other side, you'll go, God, that was also meant to be. All right, everybody. All right. I love you. If you haven't, I really want you to check out NARP. And I can't wait to see you in the next live. And please remember, subscribe, hit the notification bell, because I've got new videos coming out every week that are going to, whether you're NARPing or not, those of you NARPing, these are really, really great little tips and tools for you to know what to work on next. Those of you not NARPing, it's going to give you stuff to help keep you sane, but your true sanity is going to come from shifting your inner being. It really is. All right, everybody. Lots of love, beautiful people. Have a beautiful morning, afternoon, or evening. Mwah. And I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye-bye. And thank you, Violet, for your help on today. Lots of love.